So for my clinical placement, I'm in a third grade classroom at Northwest. And unfortunately, there's not really much to talk about with transitions. My CT basically will just kind of be like, all right, put your math books away or put your worksheets like at the end of the table so I can collect them. Or it's time for music or line up. She never like gives like a 5 minute warning or really has like a planned out transition. It's mostly just more like commands, like go back to the rug or go back to your seats. Um, I mean, it like works because the students are pretty well behaved. I mean, I don't really understand how it works. And the students really just kind of like follow orders. They don't really, I don't think, really think twice about it. They just do what they're told. I mean, I think that it definitely takes longer to like move on to the next activity because then they're like struggling to put their things away or like they're finishing up or uh Mrs. Larrabee, my CT, will have to like remind them to put things away a couple times. And I think like with a 5 minute warning, like all of that could be avoided. And I know like that totally connects to what we've talked about in class. Like even though they are third grade and they're older, it's still like students need that transition and they need to have a warning so they like are aware and they know like okay, I have to finish up instead of just frantically like then not paying attention to the next thing we're doing. Um, I mean, in my opinion, I think that she needs to have transitions and needs to at least give warnings. And I know for my future classroom, I definitely will give a 5 minute warning or even just that timer that shows. Kira, I think, used it like when it actually shows like how much time is left. I think that's a really great thing. If you're especially if you're not going to use transitions, at least use something like that. I mean, I would love to have one of those in my future classroom. Also, I think like brain breaks are a good transition if you're even for the older kids, they're just sitting there working on so many worksheets. I think a brain break would be awesome. I definitely want to keep like brain breaks and like the go noodle dances for my future classroom. As for grouping, the students in my clinical classroom are in tables of four, and that's really how they're grouped. And then there's three students who are in individual desks outside of the tables, based on like behavioral issues, and so they have to like regain the ability or the what's the word I'm looking for, the it's like a treat to sit with your friends. But basically, when I've asked Mrs. Larrabee about like why the tables are grouped the way they are, she said that they're based on like who can't sit together. So she tries to separate kids who she knows like won't get along or will like bother each other, which really I've seen there's this one table, there's two boys who really, if that's how she groups them, should not be together at all because they are always at each other's throats, always like competing on their worksheets or like trying to figure out who's smarter. It's just, it doesn't seem like a good fit at all if that's how she's grouping. I mean, the students don't really seem to notice why they're grouped at all. I think they just think it's random. Except for the students that are in the desks off to the side. They are like constantly asking if they can join a table and certain activities. So they understand why they're there, but I don't think the other students pay much attention to grouping. I'd like to think that in my future classroom, I would group them based on who they can work well with and who they will work well with and who they can like build off of and work together nicely with and who will help, like which groups of students will help each other like learn better and can help each other out. Like Anna, I think it was you saying that then they're able, if this teacher's busy, the they can like turn to their table mates and ask them for help. I think that's a really great strategy and way of grouping them. That's basically it. I mean, I think the grouping connects to like what we've learned that students like need to be grouped with like differing ability levels because then they can learn from each other and like build off of each other. Um, I think that's it. So weird that it's our last video, but I'm excited to hear everyone else's videos. Bye.